Let's cut across to our guest this evening. Joining me, Sanjay Hegde, Senior Advocate, Supreme Court, Sanju Verma, National Spokesperson, BJP, Tausif Ahmed Khan, Advocate and Political Analyst. Sanjay Hegde, with what the court, after taking suo motu cognizance of the case, what do you make of the observations today?
Well, there are two kinds of actions that the Supreme Court is contemplating. One is the mega problem. And the Supreme Court's order itself records not only the RG Kar incident, but it records incidents from other states as well, saying that we have a national problem with regard to the safety of women, specifically with regard to doctors and health workers all over the country. In the context of the RG Kar incident, which is the Kolkata incident, the Supreme Court has asked very pointed questions. It has obviously made its displeasure known with regard to the principal and his being shifted to another hospital, continuing in a job. Then the Supreme Court was told that, after the High Court's judgment, he is no longer working anywhere. He's been sent on leave. The Supreme Court wants to know that what the status of the CBI investigation is. That's why it's kept it day after tomorrow for a comprehensive report from the CBI. Obviously, the Supreme Court called it a moment of national catharsis. We've had Nirbhaya earlier, as you have mentioned. I happened to assist the Supreme Court as an amicus in that case with regard to the death sentence matter. And I've seen this kind of, what shall we say, a moment where the public generally says enough is enough. The Supreme Court tried to address that sentiment, which possibly was lacking in some respects, at least as far as the local administration, the college concerned, and then maybe the administration in Calcutta. The Supreme Court said that protect the protesters. It was at my instance. I was also appearing for a public interest litigant who was a lawyer of the Supreme Court. The takeaway I have is that the court has decided that it is not going to sit on its hands. This is an incident which requires more than a normal investigation. It requires systemic solutions to see that it does not occur again.
Right.
So that is why the National Task Force, with as many as 10 eminent doctors, 4 of whom are women.
Right.
I think that what you can say that the Supreme Court decided it's better to light a candle than to curse the darkness.
Okay. Sanju Verma, while there were scathing observations for how the case was handled by the Kolkata Police, there also seems to be an understanding today by the court that this is something which is not just limited to a West Bengal or Kolkata. It can happen in any state, thus the need of a task force.
You know, Preeti, first and foremost, thank you for giving a very comprehensive introduction at the start of your show, listing out the various heinous crimes and how women have been named and shamed for no fault of theirs. Coming straight to the query that you've put forth, yes, whether I like it or not, the fact is that rapes happen in West Bengal, they happen in Maharashtra, they happen in Uttar Pradesh, they happen in Karnataka, they happen in Telangana, they happen in Haryana, what have you. I only say this, Preeti, what makes this West Bengal Kolkata horror is the massive cover-up job in collusion with the state police, in collusion with the hospital manned and owned by the West Bengal government, by the West Bengal regime. It is this hatchet job, it is this cover-up job, it is this collusion which is, showcasing the stinking hypocrisy of the only woman chief minister of India. And I will repeat this ad nauseum. I have done a zillion debates on this issue, but I will never get tired of saying Mamata Banerjee has failed as the chief minister, Mamata Banerjee has failed as the home minister, Mamata Banerjee has failed as the health minister. And if you notice, there is one similarity between the Supreme Court and the observations, Preeti. Both the Apex Court and the Kolkata High Court have asked why the delay in filing FIR. Why did the hospital authorities did not file a formal complaint? If you remember, the Kolkata High Court last week said, why did the state file a complaint of unnatural death when an investigation is already underway? And why the special treatment to the doctor? Obviously, it is Sandeep Ghosh that the Supreme Court was asking, and it is Sandeep Ghosh who was sent on a long leave by the Kolkata High Court, because Mamta Banerjee, when she had the opportunity, rather than taking Sandeep Ghosh to task and sacking him, she actually rewarded him and promoted him as principal of National Medical College, one of the most prestigious medical colleges in the country. So I think the Kolkata High Court and the Supreme Court are in tandem when it comes to calling out the bluff, the incompetence, the shoddy nature of the investigation, the absolute abandonment of their duties by the Kolkata Police, which incidentally reports into Mamta Banerjee. And the other and very important thing, both the Apex Court and the Kolkata High Court have come down like a ton of bricks on Mamta Banerjee by asking, why is it that the deceased parents were kept waiting for over 3 hours? Imagine passing off a gruesome rape and murder, perhaps a gang rape, as a suicide. This is a question that the Supreme Court asked. This is a question that the Kolkata High Court asked. And I'm sorry to say, forget as a woman, as a bona fide citizen of this country, Mamta Banerjee has still chosen not to give answers. All she does is ram, bam, falana, dhamkina. The biggest thing and the most important thing for a neta to do is to ensure that there is a semblance of accountability. You do not need to be only doing right, you need to be seen to be doing right. And Mamta Banerjee has failed on both counts. I think the inflection point has been reached. Enough is enough is what the Janta of Bengal is saying. Mamta Banerjee istifa do. This is a public outcry now, not limited to national debates. This is something which the Aam Janta on the ground is demanding answers. Why is Mamta Banerjee quiet?
I want to bring in Tausif Ahmed. Tausif Ahmed, strong observations by the top court of the country, where how the entire case was mishandled by the administration, which is the Mamta Banerjee government, as well as the Kolkata Police. You know, one can take refuge that the court spoke of a larger issue which prevails our country and taking cognizance of that as well. But ultimately, Tausif Ahmed, because now it's coming in from the judiciary, it's coming in from the streets, and understandably, you know, if one, whatever one might say, politically, there is heat on Mamta Banerjee.
Preeti, I welcome the suo motu action taken by the Supreme Court and the order that was passed today, because the Supreme Court has put the focus right on the subject that really matters. And that is the women's safety, especially in the workplace, especially with the doctors across the country. Supreme Court has acknowledged that this kind of incident does not only happen in Kolkata, and it is happening across the country. And that is why National Task Force is formed by the Supreme Court, and they will look after the measures to prevent this kind of incident in the future across the country. It is not limited only to this one specific case in Kolkata. Much to the dismay, I know the BJP spokesperson is disheartened today. BJP spokesperson is so disappointed today because the Supreme Court did not pass any order for removal of the Mamta Banerjee as the chief minister. Supreme Court order did not pass any material.
How can the Supreme Court even ask for the removal of the chief minister?
Which will help them for toppling of the...
No, 1 second. How can even the Supreme Court can't even get in to ask for the removal of the chief minister? That's a little, you know, bizarre and very... It's a fig leaf to take refuge in. 1 second, sir. Okay, I just want to bring in Sanjay Hegde as well into this conversation. Sanjay Hegde, final comments now. The sheer fact with what the Supreme Court said today, because yes, it did speak of the mishandling of the entire case, but on a larger level, constituting a task force which is way beyond West Bengal. And one can understand the Supreme Court at least gave a direction of moving ahead, especially where the safety of health workers are concerned. Now can we look at a cohesive law?
Cohesive law will have to come from the central government.
Yes.
There was, in fact, a draft which was pending with the central government, which was then brought in as a private member's bill, but then it lapsed. There definitely has to be a law protecting health doctors and health workers inside hospitals. Rape is, of course, an extreme form of violence. There are other violent incidents also which involve doctors. Doctors and health workers need to feel safe in hospitals before they can bring effective healthcare to patients at large. That is one part of the problem. The other part, that's the mega problem. The micro problem with regard to RJ Kar cannot remain unaddressed. You need an effective investigation, a speedy one, followed by a trial as quickly as can be consistent with the rule of law, and taken to its logical conclusion if there is a particular sentence.
Sanju Verma, the fact is one can say that it's time that Mamata Banerjee quits because she's failed West Bengal. If you're going to go by that, then one can say Eknath Shinde needs to quit with what is happening in Badlapur. At least the FIR was registered within hours where West Bengal Kolkata case was concerned. There it took days even for the first FIR to come in.
Preeti, I started by saying that rapes happen in various states. Every 51 minutes, there is one rape in the country and 4 cases of sexual assault or sexual molestation. The statistics are horrifying. What I'm trying to prove here is a simple fact, and you don't need to be a rocket scientist to acknowledge this. In BJP ruled states, by and large, heads have rolled, be it Hathras, be it Unnao, and even Devendra Fadnavis, by virtue of being the Home Minister and the Deputy Chief Minister, has told the Thane Police Commissioner, because Badlapur comes under the Thane district, the Superintendent of Police of Badlapur, the Assistant Sub-Inspector, the Sub-Inspector, and the Badlapur Thana in charge, they have all been suspended. My question is, by virtue of that logic, where heads have rolled in BJP-ruled states, when a ghastly crime against a woman happens, why is it that Vineet Goyal, the police commissioner, has not been sacked by Mamata Banerjee? Why is it that the Lal Bazar Thana chief in Kolkata has not been sacked by Mamata Banerjee? Why is it that Narda and Sarada tainted Rajiv Kumar, who's the DGP of West Bengal, is mollycoddled by Mamata Banerjee, far from being sacked? And don't forget, Preeti, don't forget one very important thing, which both the Apex Court and the Kolkata High Court mentioned, and I think Mr. Hegde also said that. Imagine a crowd of 7,000 people gathering, breaking barricades and vandalizing the scene of the crime, which was already contaminated to start with. I think that is as shameless and as
no, one second, Sanjay Verma, that has been refuted even in court today by Mr. Kapil Sibal, that the scene of crime was not vandalized. It's not been vandalized. That's what the Kolkata police said. Okay, fine. Ma'am, because I'll tell you, there's a fair amount of misinformation also floating about. But, you say heads rolled. Many suggest no, heads did not roll in Hathras. Heads did not roll elsewhere as well.
Cover up by the Maharashtra police, like the Kolkata
Ma'am,
police.
I'm talking about Hathras with what you said. But I just want to cut across. I want to cut across to Tausif Ahmed Khan. Tausif Ahmed Khan, the sheer fact is that there has been a systematic letdown at various fronts by the Mamata Banerjee government. And now it's not coming from anyone but her biggest constituency, which is women.
Preeti, I absolutely agree. I myself, you, or Mr. Sanjay Hegde, and everybody else in the country is interested in seeing that justice is delivered to the victim. How the justice will be delivered, that this accused, Mr. Sanjay, the accused who is in CBI custody now should be hanged to death ASAP. And also that the truth must come out, the full truth, whether it was a gang rape or whether there was really an attempt to wash away the crime scene and everything, all the allegation which is there. Who is responsible for it?
Who
is going to give answer to this?
Sir, you're an advocate to call for immediate hanging. It's just a little bizarre. Okay, I'm going to close the show. I appreciate all three of you for joining us.